CCJ's 1044 is brought to you by Chevron Dello Heavy Duty Diesel Engine Oil. Now there's even more reasons to choose Dello.
What are fleets doing to improve operational efficiency, driver safety, and sustainability efforts?
You're watching CCJ's 1044, a weekly webisode that brings you the latest trucking industry news and updates from the editors of CCJ. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell for notifications so you'll never miss an installment of 1044. Hey everybody, welcome back. I'm Jason Cannon and your co-host on the other side is Matt Cole. Fleets, especially in the current market, are faced with numerous challenges to be more efficient, meet sustainability goals, and improve safety and well-being of all their drivers.
Telematics provider Teletrac Navman each year conducts a telematics survey among fleets to gauge the industry's efforts in those areas. Joining us this week is Teletrac Navman's Chief Marketing Officer, Carlos Caponera, who discusses the results of the 2024 Telematics Survey and what it means for fleets and trucking.
Teletrac Navman's been around for about over 30 years now. We do GPS tracking, telematics around the globe. We have offices around the US, Australia, New Zealand, UK, and Mexico. And we provide fleet services, fleet management services for medium, small, and large fleets, as well as construction. We work in the construction industry, government, and general services. We've been running the Telematics Survey now for about 7-8 years. We paused during COVID, naturally, and we conduct it as a global survey. So we go out and reach out to fleet managers, fleet operators around the globe, mostly in the areas that we play in the regions we play in. And we conduct kind of a general survey, a digital survey, get the results, and we take the results and basically express them out in the report on an annual basis.
Driver safety initiatives, a push toward cleaner emissions, and the impact of telematics on fleet efficiencies were the three key areas of this year's survey.
Well, we've seen a big push around safety programs, so we're curious to see how that's affecting the U.S. market in particular. We've seen a lot of growth in the video telematics space and safety services, driver safety behavior. Teletrac Navman has these products available, and so we wanted to see what are the next steps or what's kind of the next phase in safety. We're also looking at the advent of sustainability and the net zero initiatives that the U.S. government is taking place and global governments are taking place to see how that's affecting fleet managers and fleet operators. And we got some surprising feedback from the survey in terms of sustainability, where fleet managers are in their evolution towards net zero. And we also wanted to take a look at how overall telematics is helping fleets become more efficient in their day-to-day operations. So really looking at fleet efficiency, safety and well-being, as well as sustainability as part of the global survey.
A lot of truck drivers are hesitant about video telematics, and maybe for good reason, with early adopters commonly using cameras as a gotcha tool when things go wrong. Carlos explains how that's changing after a word from 1044 sponsor, Chevron Lubricants.
These past few years have been less than easy. We've encountered challenges we never imagined we'd ever have to deal with. From makeshift home offices and video meetings, to global supply chain uncertainty, price instability, market disruptions, and everything in between. Delivering the level of services and products our customers had come to expect was difficult for all of us. We can't change what's behind us, but we can definitely learn from it. We can adapt, evolve, and take steps to reset our thinking, adapt our strategies, and restore your trust in us to better meet your needs, now and in the future. That change begins today. Today, we break with convention and introduce a rebalanced line of Dello heavy-duty engine oils. We've reduced our product line from 4 categories to 2. Consolidated and simplified, this lineup removes complexity from the manufacturing processes, enhancing price stability and supply chain reliability, so you can trust you will have the premium products you need to keep your business always moving forward. Our break with convention optimizes the Dello lineup to allow you to provide your customers with the best synthetic blend and synthetic heavy-duty engine oils in the market, fully available at prices you can rely on. It's your assurance that you'll be well positioned to be their trusted source for proven engine protection that keeps equipment on the job, giving your customers even more reasons to choose Dello.
On the safety side, we're seeing a major push around driver appreciation. Originally a lot of fleet managers thought that video telematics would be more of a big brother type of device that's watching and observing the drivers on the road. But it's evolved into more of a support training tool. We saw one of the major drivers of improved driving behavior is appreciation. So we've seen things all the way out to gamification of driver safety and driver scoring. A lot of training goes in place. We saw 63% of the drivers, however, recognize mental health as being kind of the main strain, rising costs of living. And that's really happened in terms of kind of where the economy is at today in the U.S. market. It's leading to a lot of stress in terms of what the drivers face day to day. And therefore, the safety and well-being is kind of one of the top and center most important factors that fleet managers this year were giving feedback through the survey. So through the adoption of video telematics, they're able to help coach and train. Positive reinforcement more than anything. I think that the original approach was kind of negative reinforcement and kind of slapping the hands of drivers that were not being responsible out on the road. But like I said, it's evolved greatly with the use of technology. It's really becoming a supportive type process. Being able to see the results too are there. So in the survey, we saw 73% of those surveyed recognize there are fewer accidents on the road since adopting either telematics or video telematics and training combination, which has helped help bring safer roads to those out there on their day-to-day routes.
Sustainability is a hot topic in trucking, with fleets setting goals to reduce emissions down the road. Carlos says he was surprised to hear from fleets in the survey about their projected timelines for a zero emissions transition.
One of the big surprises kind of came to light. Let's say two, adoption is happening faster than what we expected internally. 79% of those surveyed expected more than half their fleets to be using alternative fuel systems in the next 5 years, which is crucial. That's a big step for a lot of the markets, in particular the U.S. market. The U.S. market, we're seeing a lot more advancement in electric vehicles for short haul, right, and deliveries. And we see that every day. I mean, the FedEx truck outside of our building is electric. Comes by and that change happened overnight. All of a sudden we're seeing electric vehicles dropping off for Amazon deliveries, etc. And that was one where we're seeing it shift faster than what we expected. And I think it's gonna accelerate even further as we see long haul vehicles now start rolling off the assembly line with EV transmissions, right? We see what Tesla's doing with their semis. Nikola's hit a couple of speed bumps, but they're also developing different fuel systems for large semis. So that's one surprising part of the survey. We expected it to take longer, but it's almost upon us. So we just have to be ready. And then the other one is kind of the government expectations, right? In our survey, one of the leading headlines here is a lot of the U.S. participants in the survey do not believe the government's going to move as fast, right? In terms of their energy mandates, which we internally believe they will. Teletrac Navman and our parent company Vontier is working closely to develop electrification grids across the U.S. And with that, we do see a lot of government support and a lot of their mandates we believe are going to come through to fruition. I know a lot of fleet managers don't see it that way, but I do believe it will happen.
In terms of efficiency, the survey showed that more fleets are utilizing telematics to help optimize their operations and improve their bottom line.
Total cost of ownership, as always, is front and center in a lot of fleet managers, operators, and owner-operators especially, right? The rising cost of fuel is always, and it's been a long-running stat within our survey that's the topmost critical issue and challenge facing ownership nowadays. The one thing we have seen is a large sum of our surveyors have adopted telematics solutions. It helps them reduce idle time, become more efficient drivers in terms of how they maintain their vehicles. That being able to maintain your vehicle and keep up with maintenance cycles helps extend the lifetime of your vehicle. So a lot of those factors really countermeasures to the rising costs of fuel and insurance, et cetera. So having a fully formed package, in our opinion, a telematics package that handles your maintenance, your route planning, your video safety and monitoring, and compliance having that full package can really reduce your overhead, dropping your insurance costs, retaining your drivers within your fleet, improving your overall satisfaction in your end customers because your vehicles are getting there on time and there are no delays because your vehicle's not broken down the road. Your driver got into maybe into an accident, et cetera. So there's a lot of advantages around the efficiency side. We're also starting to see more of our customers take on, higher AI, being able to now bring in technology to help them make these decisions, the critical few decisions on a day-to-day you have to make as a fleet manager. So we're hoping that the technology will also be adopted at a higher level, not just on the reporting side where people are just looking at day-to-day reports that show what happened yesterday, but taking on the technology that helps them make the decisions here and now and helps them plan for the next week or the next cycles as their vehicles come in and out of their yards.
Finally, Carlos offers key takeaways from the new Telematics Survey report that fleets can use to their benefit.
For those that are reading the report, I think three things stand clear to me. If you're not using telematics at this point, or you're not using these technology tools, you need to have them as part of your kind of wheelhouse in terms of developing your business and becoming more efficient. Got to be competitive in that space. Around the safety of your fleet and the well-being, there's a lot of tools out there that help driver coaching, training, et cetera. I think that's a must-have. Not only is it going to reduce the cost of your fleet in terms of insurance costs and operating costs, it's also going to get your drivers in a better position so they're not always on the defensive, and you're helping reinforce positive driver behavior. And finally, the sustainability and kind of net zero fleets will be here soon enough. So starting to learn about the technologies, starting to understand the challenges in adoption, and really understand the best route for you as kind of the owner of your fleet and vehicles and the future expansion of your company. You really have to take a keen eye and learn more about it. There's a lot of routes to be taken. There's a lot of possibilities out there. And there's just not one fit for purpose for, one technology fits everyone. You really have to educate yourself in terms of learning what's best for the future of your company and the future of your business.
That's it for this week's 1044. You can read more on ccjdigital.com. While you're there, sign up for our newsletter and stay up to date on the latest in trucking industry news and trends. If you have any questions or feedback, please let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell for notifications so you can catch us again next week.